Too late now. Press wrong button.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Retrek. I'm Captain Jim. With me, of course, Sir Admiral Elliot.
Hi there.
And Dr. Squee.
Dragon! I thought go upside down today for just some variation.
Upside down dragon. Got
I met a dragon dog on the weekend for Halloween. That was fucking brilliant. I was like, my kindred.
And what did the dog say?
Yeah, which
that's good response.
Hilarious. Come on.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about the latest episode of Lower Decks, the best Exotic Nanite Hotel, which led us down the rabbit hole to Evolution from TNG. And yeah, if for whatever reason you're not in a good mood today, hopefully we can have a bit of a fun time. But that's all we're gonna say on that subject, which I'm not even.
I'm just gonna say I've been really looking forward to Retrek today. This talking Trek is the cure for all ills, and that's all I'm gonna say. Because if this helps you guys, hopefully it does too. Because it's really helpful to me.
But first, Elliot's got some Trek news.
We have. Well, should we start by wishing number one happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Una.
Rebecca's 52nd birthday.
It's her birthday today. There we go. I can't believe.
I couldn't believe it when I saw how old she was. It was like
I was going to say I can't believe we didn't get invited to the party again.
Yeah. I think she's on the same bat's blood as her husband Jerry O'Connell's on. Like there's some sort of weird potion that he must be taking because they both look great.
Yeah, they do.
But we did have some Lower Decks news this week.
Go on.
Polar Lights are releasing the USS Cerritos as a plastic model kit.
Ooh.
There we go.
And really special, the first 500 have been done with the same box art that Rutherford uses in the Doppler one, Dupler's episode when he's building the Cerritos.
The Quark one.
So it's the brand name on it is Quark. It's the same box art.
Can I also I can actually compliment your Trek news for Lower Decks because Rutherford himself, whose actor name escapes me, but he did an interview recently and he said as much as the series is coming to the end, none of us want to feel like this is us done with Star Trek. We all want to come back. We'd love to do a special or appear in other things. So to do with Trek. So just the fact the will's there amongst the crew. And if kind of one of the other shows want to do another crossover or something, it's really nice to hear that they're excited. So
I don't think we've seen the end of it.
I don't. There's rumours that you've had Mike McMahon. Is it Mike?
Yeah.
Been saying that to be up for coming back to do a movie every year. And I'd be quite happy if we got 90 minutes. So if I knew every year I was getting 90 minutes, maybe 2-hour movie of Lower Decks every year, I'd be well up for that.
Oh hell yeah! And I think it's it's very much they've done a sort of similar model. I know they're making series again for South Park, but for a while it seemed like they were just doing special.
Yeah, I was just going to say that seems to come up on Paramount Plus an awful lot, doesn't it?
I'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah. Well, there's no reason they can't do specials every now and again.
But
what
we can say about the model kit that's only got 500. I know for a fact that there's only 499 available because I've ordered one of them.
Oh, you surprised me, Elliot.
There we go, and I'm sure we'll see it on Retrek Model Studios once you're up and running again.
Oh, that one's going to be good.
So the best Exotic Nanite Hotel.
Indeed. I'm just going to put a pitch for this one. I just one thing I kind of felt about this, and it kind of was only on rewatch I really noticed it because I felt just something about it. Like it was okay, but not one of my favorites. I think this reads like a 90s sitcom. It could have been an episode of Friends, and I'm going to evidence this as it goes on. Like the plots were very kind of like you've got the girlfriend who didn't think she was broken up with, who was very kind of Friends-esque, and then you've got, the guy who kind of keeps on just wildly getting sent into danger while the other two are safe, so like leading to a confrontation, which seems like something Ross would have got like mixed up. It just felt like an episode of Friends to me.
Yeah, I suppose Jennifer's a bit like Janice in this episode. Yeah, that's very good.
Jennifer's like it does come out. Jennifer is doing it deliberately. She does know they're broken up. She's just making her uncomfortable because she hasn't told her that they're broken up.
Yeah,
and that's
which like Phoebe might do.
You know? Well, no, Janice used to do that to Chandler as well.
Yeah,
like there's one where she says she's got a baby and she pretends that he's the father, even though they broke up much longer ago. So yeah, very good. So yeah, it's like an episode.
Yeah, and it's very light on sci-fi and very kind of like there's almost no back references to previous. There's a few.
Not a lot.
It was
lighter than usual.
It was a lot lighter than usual. It was like I know we entered 5 seasons and we covered a lot of other Trek anyway. But it was actually quite hard to think of another episode to cover to go along with this one.
There was only one, really.
For some reason, it wouldn't come to mind. I knew there was one, and then when Elliot said it, it's like, oh, of course it's that one. It just wouldn't come to my mind. Yeah, perfect.
I mean, it's probably because it's not the most memorable episode, but we'll get there in the second half of the show. So the Cerritos is going to the Cosmic Duchess, which is basically they describe it as sort of a cosmic cruise ship, and it looks like a starbase, and it's got different worlds on it, different biospheres. It's got everything.
It specifically, to me, looked like the Kelvin timeline in the third film, where they showed the hubs on there look very
Yorktown.
Yeah. But very much remind me of that. I think, like, which you don't get too many Kelvin kind of
similar sort of idea, yeah. And it's the sort of thing you can see. I mean, I suppose it's an extrapolation of the modern day cruise ships. Like, I've never been on that sort of cruise, but I'm told it's pretty much like you're in a city and it's just floating. There's a shopping mall, there's restaurants, there's bars,
there's casinos, there's
theaters. So this is
hookers, there's cocaine. Sorry, was that only on the cruise ship I was on?
No, that's all cruise ships.
Okay.
International waters, the stuff you can get away with is really quite... but yeah, so the reason they're there is because it's been infested by nanites. And yeah, that's the setup of the episode. Most of the crew are going to deal with that, except Boimler. And I love the fact that Ransom even phrases it as, I've got a side quest for you.
Yes, they mentioned side quest, and when you see later on in the episode, just to link these two together, when you see the nanite thing, it looks like a D20. How there wasn't a D&D joke? How there wasn't more of a D&D joke in here? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's very on Lower Decks.
Like
it's subtle, yeah.
Like Marin knows exactly what shape it is, doesn't she? Straight away, she goes.
Yes, she gives the actual name.
Yeah,
which nobody knows. I've just got it in my notes as a D20. So
that's what you need. You need Marin to say that, and then Boylan to come in with like, "Oh, it looks just like a D20." Like, perfect. No, it just seems like it's right there. That it's not often Lower Decks misses opportunities, but I think they did a few in this one. I'm sorry, just.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a very good point there. I mean, clearly they made it that shape as a reference to a D20 because we know how geeky these people are, and I mean that in a good way. Yeah. But yeah, it does seem a little bit. I mean, they could have even put numbers on it and had some sort of reason why they'd done it.
And all through the episode, and it might have been their way of trying to communicate. And like all the way through it, you could have had, because you already got the side quest and the D20, you could have had other D&D kind of little references in there. Yeah, I don't know. Just feels like they didn't build up the way they usually do the episode.
Yeah, true. It does feel more sort of
renewed. And the word
Maybe, yeah.
Phoning it in.
Yeah, this was the episode where they found out.
Yeah.
Right, fine. We're just going to rewrite Friends into a fucking Star Trek.
Yeah,
episode.
that's it. While they're at next week, there's going to be a story about. I'm trying to think of a famous Friends storyline now. I can't even think of one.
It's going to be
There's
a
so
Cheers
many.
Bar Wars episode next week.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll have that. Yeah. So then the other thread of it is Jennifer turns up, who we've not seen for ages, and it becomes apparent Mariner's not seen her for ages either. But she acts initially as though they're still a couple, and this makes Mariner a bit uneasy at first. Yeah.
And we've also got alongside this a Rutherford and Tendi renewal, which
that's really cool.
Introduction. It was just really like it wasn't really overplayed. I didn't need it to be, but they made a couple of nice references, and it just felt cute to see them on screen together. I need them to get together before the end of the series. I just need it.
Well,
I don't think they will. I think they'll just leave them both in the trend zone.
No, just they've got to see it. Sorry, they have.
There'll be loads of fan fiction out there for you if they don't actually do it in the show.
Yeah, out there. I'm not writing it at all. Like it's Dector Squee is. I don't know who that is.
And so Boimler's mission then. There's the guy who's lost his hands, and he sort of gives Boimler the warning, like, no, they throw you into all the danger.
All the danger. Yeah, it made me pick up the rock in the pool of piranhas.
And Boimler's excited. See, I love the reference to, do we get to wear the black bodysuits? Which we've seen a few times, but not that. Most famously, I think in Chain of Command, you get Picard and whatnot wear them.
We've seen it a couple of times in Lower Decks.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's nothing particularly bad in this episode. I don't mean to sound like too negative, but it's just like, again, like with this, it's just like different setups of him going into danger and making it or thing it's say. It just, I don't know. It just didn't quite get there for me. It was okay. It was fine. It's just like to use a phrase from the kids. It was mid-trek. If you will.
Ooh, mid.
Sorry.
No, but mid. Yeah, but mid kind of means bad.
No, mid means it's middle of the road. It's not particularly bad. But in the fact that it's not particularly bad, it's almost like it's not as interesting because even
that's what I mean. I feel
it was funny.
I feel like mid is used in a derogatory sense, even though it literally means mid.
Yeah.
But I feel like they use it to mean bad.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, I think it was originally used in that way, but I think you guys might be right. It's become more that.
I think it
for me, it was just it was average Trek. That it was okay. Yeah, it was funny, but it wasn't like I'm like wow. Like I didn't really remember it afterwards.
It's not a massive episode. It's okay, which makes you wonder when Lower Decks does things like this, because they are very conscious of what they're doing. If there's going to be loads of stuff in this episode that later on, sort of episode 9 and 10 of this season, we're going to go, it was from there, it was from there.
Maybe.
Because it'd be just typical for them to do something like that. And where have all the references gone that we normally have?
Yeah, I mean,
so
not
maybe. Go on,
Jim. After you, Jim.
I was just going to say maybe we'll see the Glumpus again then, because that's what we decide we're calling the nanites.
Well, that's what Rutherford called it.
And like there was kind of a few little guest aliens here and there. I didn't particularly recognize any of them. Were they from some episodes?
The reason you won't have recognized them is because this is the first time we have seen on screen a Galamite. But
I recognize the name.
Captain Baudet from DS9 was referenced no end of times as a lover of both Daxes, I believe, at some point. And I have to say, it's nice to see him on screen, but I wanted their whole face, like the whole head, to be transparent, not just a little bit.
Yeah,
I was a bit disappointed by that. The Captain Baudet in my head.
Had like a crystal skull with a brain inside.
Yeah.
Don't mention Crystal Skull. I'm not over that Indiana Jones film.
Yeah. So nice to see them nice, but I would have preferred either go all out or not at all. But that's just a personal thing.
But they
It's
do get an
nice
extra point. They get an extra
all
point
out.
from me because I thought even the aliens didn't seem like to be any back references, which is a nice, easy way of including back references. But yeah, if I thought I recognized the name, so thank you. Yeah, that one I will give them was a nice touch.
Yeah, I recognise the girl.
I agree with you.
I don't know who the race were who can't stand people eating
No.
or drinking.
No,
No,
but they
I
look
feel
kind
like
of familiar.
I feel
Like
like
they-
that's a new one.
Yeah,
They
if
look
if anyone watching knows, just bang it in the comments and let us know.
They weren't from one of the Kelvin movies. They look kind of familiar.
Again, not that I'm aware of. Maybe they're a little one that we've seen in the background or something, and
Yeah.
they've decided to flesh them out a little bit. I don't know. And then there's also this Krog character, which is another reference to Friends, because that's Ross's action figure when he's trying to get Ben to not play with Barbie. Oh no, it isn't. It's Chandler. When Chandler's trying to impress by show off his babysitting skills with the triplets, he says, and when the babies wake up, they can meet Krog, and he's got this action figure called Krog. So I think you're right. I think this is
And
to the Friends verse.
when they were going down the river, you saw that monkey called Marcel go past them. I
There
thought
you
I'd
go.
reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that could have been a reference to the movie Outbreak. So
Of course.
it could have been.
Uh,
Yeah. And when Boimler, first of all, you've got to go up the dangerous mountain, but then he's got to ski down it, and you find out it's called Coward's Gulch, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's nice.
Like,
Yeah, that's
very on the nose, but I was happy with that.
I think that is a homage to those kind of classic joke. Like it's a very Police Squad and kind of. I think that was a deliberate. I'll give him that one. I like that.
And he accidentally grabs the guy's genitals as he's going down because they're on his back.
Where else would they be?
Which is obviously a bit of a piss take on the Star Trek 6 where he's genitals are in his knee. It's sort of like
that's what I thought of. Yeah.
Yep.
And he accidentally kind of tips off the Admiral, somebody who knows the Admiral. That's the thing, is they're looking for this Admiral who's gone into hiding.
Which seems to me a very Apocalypse Now mixed with
that's
the Rogue Admirals, which you get
when...
quite a lot in Star Trek, so it's a kind of double hit.
When they get there, it is the setup is Apocalypse Now, and funnily enough, me and Elliot were talking about that the other day, weren't we? So
we were having a bit of a chat about Grando.
Yeah, and it is very much that.
We just come out of the Christopher Reeves movie. So you've got to talk about Grando.
I still want to see that. That looks
great. It's good. It's definitely worth seeing. It's it feels weirdly incomplete, possibly because of the runtime. Like it's only just over an hour and a half, but they'll sort of make reference to things and not follow up on them
and not tell you how they got over that problem.
Like the main thrust of it is about his accident and how he copes with it and what he did afterwards, and it's all that's incredible and everything, but I think because they've so tightly focused it on that, it feels like there's other strands that are not kind of picked up, but
we do get a bit on A Stitch in Time though. Please come on.
You mean Somewhere in Time?
Somewhere in Time, pardon.
Well, they sort of say, and then he did some films which didn't do well.
That was a great film.
It was a great film, but nobody went to see it.
But you get like 5-10 second. They don't say it wasn't a great film. They say it didn't do any more blockbusters.
I mean, in all fairness, like that was one which back in the day you used to be able to find an audience on TV a bit easier. So if it didn't make it in the cinema, like quite a few of Kevin Smith's films did poorly in cinema but did great on home video. I think that was one of those. So it's a bit of a shame because I think it's wrong to judge it by today's standards. It did make it probably its money back in the long run.
We will check the box office of it before the end of the show.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
I'm not arguing the box office was shit. I'm just saying afterwards, I bet it made.
I think it's become beloved. I mean, I think there's a convention every year where they go to the place that it was filmed and they all dress up in so it's certainly got its fans.
Do they try and cover up anything from the present day because that will break the spell and you won't be able to time travel?
Not sure. I am not sure. I've never been to one of these conventions. But that's a good example of something that like they kind of gloss over because they like Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour fell in love and got together during that film, and he ultimately broke it off because his ex-partner had found out she was pregnant and he went back to her. None of that mentioned whatsoever. So yeah, anyway, that's but it is still a brilliant film to watch, and it tells the story that you're there to watch and everything, and it's all very, inspirational and everything. But yeah. Anyway,
Freak's review of Super/Man,
the Christopher Reeve story. I would recommend it, but don't expect to find out anything you didn't already know, is what I would say. But back to Lower Decks, and then we'll do our review of Heretic, which we also saw. So yes, Apocalypse Now. And yeah, they go down the lazy river. He has to go into the cave, which, as you said, he's hitting this beat again of you do the dangerous things, you do the dangerous things. I like the conceit that the Admiral went AWOL because he gets rubbish missions like milking space whales.
Yeah, you have to go.
Is that a Gormaganda or is that a Galaxy's Child type thing? And I love that. I like it when they actually mention the episode.
All of them, all the space whales.
Oh, but it's like they.
The thing is, we've done Galaxy's Galaxy's Child is a reference to one that we could have done. But we have done Galaxy's Child.
I mean, they also mentioned Dixon Hill in here, but yours was a better fit by far.
Yeah. We've gone with the obvious one.
It was I do love that thing of when they name the episode name in it, like Galaxy's Child type deal. So you have to in world imagine that's what just everyone refers to it as. That's what the mission report was called, or the kind of like the TED Talk at Starfleet Academy.
Well, it does make you wonder, like how Lower Decks references these by like the episode title we know. If, like, when they're writing the captain's log for the mission report, if they do have to come up with a name of it. So you got Picard. So you got Picard there at the end of this mission, and he's done his captain's logs, and he's going, fuck's sake, what the fuck am I going to call this one?
No. You see, I think he writes the captain's logs, and then later it is the Picard talks at Starfleet Academy, and he named all his adventures, and, maybe Geordi and Data come in with, like, they all take turns to do them. It's like, as I say, it's the Starfleet Academy version.
I just like to think that the captains have got to sit there thinking of a name for all the missions.
It goes on the subject line of the email.
Yeah, once they put all the logs together and the mission's over, they've got to send, right, this was all that mission, anything that happened, and they've got to title it for what the mission's about.
I think Picard's got really pissed off with cadets coming up to him when he's trying to enjoy his dinner. So he's like, fuck it, right, I'll do the the Starfleet Academy circuit, just do a talk about it, then you don't have to bother me. It's on the wherever the internet is.
Like it probably explains though why in TOS era they're very Shakespearean about some of the names and all that, and referencing Roman stuff, because they were new to all this stuff. But by the time it gets to Picard's time, he's there. Oh, for fuck's sake, Galaxy's Child. I'm not calling it the giant suckling whale.
And I can't call it Geordi Gets Turned Down, because I've already used that 3 times for different missions.
Also, if you're going for the old school title, it would be The Whale Which Suckles Deepest, Suckles Best, or something, it'd be very overly wordy.
Yeah. Yeah, Picard's, I can't believe Captain Kirk used all the Shakespearean references. That's my thing. Anyway, so yeah, they admit that Boimler, they were giving him a chance to succeed, which he does because he rescues everybody. And Jennifer and Mariner, well, Jennifer admits that she's been winding Mariner up. She didn't break up with her properly. And they reach sort of something of an understanding.
And Jennifer and Mariner have about 3 goodbye because they settle it when they're talking and she reveals it. Then she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't say this, that, and the other." Brilliant. They settle it there, and then they have a goodbye. Like it seemed like three ways of doing the same thing. It wasn't like
pretty much.
You've got 25, 21 minutes, however long these episodes are.
Yeah, it's like Mariner obviously really liked Jennifer, but she can't forgive her for not trusting her.
Yeah, I don't think Mariner was particularly unreasonable in that, and I don't think either was Jennifer, but I don't think they needed.
Yeah, but it was that Mariner just needed one person to trust in her and believe her, and Jennifer, even though she was in a relationship, wouldn't believe her.
Yeah, I don't think Mariner was particularly unreasonable, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, I don't.
No.
Yeah.
And the twist then, if you like, is when they disable the nanites. It turns out there's a little teeny tiny Intrepid class ship that's caught in there, and they've been trying to gather all the stuff they need to open up a dimensional portal
to get
so
which relates to Elliot's suggestion that might be the theme of the series.
Yeah,
it's certainly looking that way.
I think that we got that on straight away, that it's going to be all about dimensional portals. And I still stick to my thing that I think it's going to be Folians. Even though we've not seen Folians yet in this season, I'm still sticking to Folians are going to be behind it.
You know what?
I think it's going to be the giant hand.
I'm going to put it out there because it's got to be right sometime. It's going to be the Iconians.
So we've got Iconians, we've got the Tholians, or giant hand.
You're going giant hand.
Giant god hand.
The lower decks writers.
Is that Apollo?
That was Apollo.
Yeah.
The lower decks writers know that everyone always thinks it's Iconians, so I wouldn't put it past them to actually make it Iconians in the final series.
It'd be a nice wrap up. It'd be a nice, like, little the final biggest in joke to the fans. You guessed this all along. It is this time.
It is.
And there's a fun little bit with the Admiral where they go, "Oh, you're in my universe as well, but there you want to milk space whales." "Oh, that's not what I do in this."
And like what? So this guy just comes back and they go, "Yeah, we'll forgive you." It's like, what? There's no repercussions.
Well, he got AWOL. He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I think like why it was a covert mission is because he's gone AWOL. I just want to get him back and doing his job because they don't want all the press in it coming out that an Admiral has gone AWOL because that looks really bad for them.
Or it's very Star Trek not to embarrass him, which is
Yeah, and you've got to keep an eye on admirals because they have a tendency to go off the rails, particularly in this time period. So
yeah, it's happened a lot.
Yeah, I think even if an admiral just resigns from Starfleet and it's all cordial and everything, you probably send a squad just to make sure they're not doing anything too crazy. Yeah. But yeah, that about wraps that one up. I think I'm broadly on board with Squeeze's take on it. I thought it was fine. Don't think it was the greatest episode.
I enjoyed
with it either.
I enjoyed watching it because I love Lower Decks. I've watched it several times this week because I always do.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be one of my rush back to episodes.
No, and I think we've shown we're 28 minutes into the podcast. We've pretty much covered it all, and we spent 10 minutes of that talking about Christopher Reeve. So, there isn't a lot to chew on in this episode.
No, that's what I think I missed. I think actually with us talking
Delane. I do think it's nice that she gets a signed photo of Krog.
Yes, that is nice.
Although the only thing was like they have a Krog thing, and it was kind of fun. I go and like, no, I'm just a real big fan of Krog. And then, but when she meets him, I thought we didn't see Krog previously, did we?
No, I don't think
Because
so.
it felt like the reveal that he was into Vulcan meditation. It was like, oh, well, that's fine, but I don't know.
No,
Why wouldn't to us? Why wouldn't he be? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, I was trying to think what species he is and all that. That he obviously, I'm not sure what species he's meant to be.
No,
I feel like that bit that bit at the end was fine, but for that to really land, you had to know him to appear much wilder.
it felt underdeveloped.
You need a setup like for the land.
It feels like it's a species that we should know that aren't really known for being wild-mannered, that we've maybe seen them as wild animals or beasts or something, maybe in TOS, and we're just not putting the pieces together who it is.
Even then, I feel like you've got to establish it in episode, like some kind of illusion in episode. Like that, I mean, I would have happily taken that over the fourth or fifth goodbye that Mariner says to
true.
Becky.
Well, according to Memory Alpha, he is from an unspecified species, and that's the only episode he's ever appeared in. So, maybe he's gonna be. Maybe you will give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Krog's gonna become a thing.
It was angular, wasn't he? I wonder if he's because Folians are out angular from what we saw.
Oh, here we go.
I wonder if it's a Folian. If it's a Folian that's sort of like got on top of his anger and he's cooled down and gone chill. It's gone solid rock.
It's not lupus. It's never lupus.
So, anyway, that's that episode. And because of nanites, we went back to Evolution, which is... Weirdly, it's the season 3 premiere of TNG, which speaks a lot to this period of TV, because now a season premiere would do something big.
It'd be a massive episode.
Yeah, it'd be a notable episode. It'd either be wrapping up a cliffhanger or it'd be sort of a statement of intent for the season.
Yeah. You would have made more fuss about Pulaski leaving and Crusher being back.
Yeah.
I know they use it in the plot, but they don't really have any fan.
The first episode back of your third season, and it's a Wesley episode. Not that I have a problem with Wesley, but it's just an odd choice.
With Dr. Kelso from Scrubs, though. I mean, great actor, very underused here. Hey.
It's just... I mean, I think it speaks to the way TV was done then. There was just, we need 26 scripts. That one's done first. Make that one.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of thought to the structure of the season or anything like that.
You've got a third season. You're on for half the year. And you just put out your episodes. And some of it will probably... I can't think how... I'm trying to... Season 3 ends with Best of Both Worlds, doesn't it?
Yes. So they got the season finales and openers sorted after this. This is the last time.
Like, it makes you wonder if there's like the budget thing, because I've mentioned that before with how TV used to be, that you have episodes that you know are going to cost you a lot of money because there's more effects. You have to build new shit. You need new models, new sets building, and then you have your episodes like. Apart from that egg, which I can't imagine cost a lot to build, they're literally on one backdrop. They've got one set piece. Or one of space with the star, and that's it.
Can I ask also? I think whoever wrote this episode might have been eating a boiled egg while they did it, because you've got the egg references all throughout. And then later on, when I'm going to say Dr. Kelso is talking to Troy, he goes like, oh, you think you've cracked the hard surface? It's like, are they just, is this the way they're just egg obsessed in some way? But he's not referencing the thing, he's referencing himself. And it doesn't seem to be a play on words or anything. It's not like he's calling back to that. It's just... It's just another random egg like reference, and it just this whole episode just felt like you guys say it's like there are 26 episodes to make. There was a decent plot, I think, within this, just very badly. It's a good first draft.
It's a very interesting concept that they're working on.
Yeah, But you need
look-
the nanites a bit earlier to have causing havoc.
Yeah,
you need Wesley to come forward a bit earlier, and then you
Yeah.
can have a bit more fun with the ship
Yeah.
nearly falling apart before you get a resolution. You could have
Yeah.
built Dr. Kelso's character up a lot more. He was very interesting once he starts talking about baseball, which made me think of Cisco, obviously. But I would like to have had him more passionate earlier, not this whole thing of like, oh no, he's pretending like he doesn't care. Well, why? I want to see him care, because it then matters more when he goes psycho.
It's all a bit. And yeah, it starts with Wesley forgetting his alarm. Now, I do enjoy when Wesley goes up to the bridge because Riker just like points at him as he goes over there.
Oh, Riker was great at winding him up.
He's doing it in a nice way, so you can tell he's grinning, but he's like, Wesley, sit down.
It was like the fun uncle mentor, whereas Worf was the
yeah.
one,
But you've also got the thing that Riker will be aware that Wesley has probably stayed up all night studying as well. He's doing his shifts plus his studying.
Yeah, it's like you need to get on top of this, but I get it. You know, you got your
and to be fair, Riker, who's meant to be sort of looking after him as a mentor and in charge of his study periods along with his work rota, should probably be making him reduce some of his study time on the night if he's sleeping in not regular staying up. Because he knows that he's not staying up partying, although possibly he is staying up shagging, as we find out at the end of the episode. But that's a different matter.
That is because there is that bit where Wesley's sort of talking to Beverly's talking to him, and she's like, oh well, you know, you must be out having fun, and Wesley just basically says to his mum, no, I don't have fun. And it's like it's just bizarre.
It's when Crusher goes to Wesley, it's like, or to Dr. Kelso with Wesley there, it's like, I missed about 2 inches. And Wesley's going, well, that girl didn't last night. Ew! Oh, sorry, I'm having no fun. I'm having no fun whatsoever.
Yeah, because she says to Picard, doesn't she? She's like, has he ever been in love? And Picard should have said, well, yes, actually, with this weird shape-shifting thing that... last year it was a whole thing. Last year there were these fish people, and then there was this shapeshifter. It was the weirdest thing.
And I feel like this was a thing of the time, whereas like the dialogue wasn't very like. I think now people talking to you generally, it's kind of like realistic dialogue, whereas it kind of like she talks in a way that no one does. Like going like, no, tell me about him. Who's he? It's like no one talks like that. Just what's he like? What's he up to now? What's he into? Like you wouldn't ask of your son, even if you hadn't seen him for a year. Who is he now? Like what's he like? You know, she doesn't want.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Something like that. It's weird.
It's
very formal.
It's very much of its period because, like, what this be 89, 90.
Yeah, I think we're into the 90s. 88 when it started, so season
87 when it started. So
87. Sorry, yeah, you're
88,
right.
89. So this is probably 89.
Yeah, you're right.
Been written probably in 88.
And also, talking of things not being sort of fully worked out by this point, Beverly talks about the food slot rather than the replicator.
Yes, I know that.
Now, I actually think this is actually bad writing as opposed to...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure we've had replicators
because we've had replicators.
I thought we had.
We've had replicators for a long time, and I actually think this is just really bad writing by somebody, and it's just not being picked up in post-production or anything.
So again, to our point.
I think it's literally just been, yeah, that'll do. We're concentrating money on this one. Our time is going into these episodes. Just get on with it. And I think it's just, I honestly think this is not a case of, oh, they weren't sure what things were, because we've got over that from TOS. This is a case of bad writing and not being picked up on. And I think it's possibly also a case of Crusher's been out of it for a year. First episode back, she's probably not even picked up on. She probably should have corrected. No, we meant to call them replicators, but she's been out of it for a year, so she's just following the script.
Maybe though in universe, Starfleet medicals actually really run down, and they only have food slots. They don't have replicators, and she just hasn't got out of the habit yet.
No, because this is still replicating over and over.
Oh,
but you've got to also bear in mind that as much as the writers are like having produced 22 episodes, so the actors, so probably she was like, oh, it's not even worth. Like, I don't care, food slots, that's fine.
No,
No, but I wonder, like you were saying that she would have usually picked them up. I think maybe they were so overworked on some of the episodes. Like Brent Spiner said, it's like all he could do was really say, like, as long as I had a take on what I was doing in that episode, that's it. That's all I had time for.
Yeah,
and it might have been one of those situations with the film.
But this is what I'm saying is this is early in her coming back, so she's maybe not picked up on.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying the other option is she just didn't have the time or the energy to go. You've used the wrong term, you know.
See, I don't.
It's one of those, I think.
If this were late in the season, I'd agree with you. This is your first episode. You should be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on this one. Everyone should be bringing their A game.
Which is why I think her break for a year. She's just.
But she's probably just come off the set of the. She's probably just come off the set of the Great Muppet Caper. She's in a rush, you know.
Okay, yeah, right then. So, we get this bit where red alert, because this is the thing that we find out the nanites are interfering and making the ship do weird things. But I'm going to give them this one. I don't know if this was planned, but it's the first episode of the season, and it teases the Borg. And they say, red alert, there's a Borg ship. And then, of course, the season finale is the actual Borg attack. So it does give a little bit of a bookend to the season. I don't feel like it belongs in this episode, and I think if you were going to do that, you should have done a whole episode about we think it's a Borg attack and it turns out not to be, or something like that. So I'm giving them a little bit of credit for that, but I suspect it may have just been a happy accident.
Let's also remember that Borg episodes at this time are hugely expensive TV. And your Borg episodes probably take up your budget of 4 or 5 normal episodes. So you end up with a lot of episodes like this that don't get the care that they deserve.
True.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit I wanted to pick you guys' brains on this, because they say, oh, we've not had a computer issue like this for 79 years. And I feel like we must have. Like, we must have had
I assume,
a computer go down.
The only thing that seems weird is that in the last 2 series they didn't. But I thought it was a sort of in-joke too. In the original series, you had loads, so you couldn't say there wasn't any to that. So in the time between the shows, but there must have been the first 2 series.
Like, I was wondering if this was referring to the animated series one where the practical Joker.
It could be, yeah. But I mean, because I'm thinking of, like, there's that episode where Silence Has Lease, where the sister ship blows up but that's caused by something external. So I think what they're getting at is the computer's not just broken down off its own.
This is the computer who's actually gone mental itself.
Yeah,
which makes me think of the practical Joker.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sort of wondering if they're also getting away with a bit of kind of wordplay that it's a system-wide error as opposed to just a system going down. It's
practical Joker would just about fit in at 79 years.
Yeah, because if we're counting holodeck malfunctions, then whoa. I reckon they have a separate report for them. It's like, right, how many computer errors are there? 65 million. How many computer errors that are not holodeck malfunction? 4. You know, I reckon it's a bit.
Yep.
Starfleet will have a separate report for that, because it's not worth putting in the real stats.
This is talking about the entire computer system is gone down, not just one system. This is a complete system failure. Yeah.
And then they get Stubbs in and they tell him, oh, well, he barges his way in, and they say, well, you might as well stay, Doctor. And they say, well, we might not be able to stay and see the interstellar phenomenon. And he's like, I'd rather die than abandon my work. And then Councillor Troy chirps in and she says, his nonchalance is studied and practiced. And then Picard, making it just canonical, says to her, yeah, I can tell that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, all right, why do you have her in these briefings?
Yeah.
You also open it up with, that discussion of him saying, it's like, well, could you just get out of my head and stop with that shit? Which, first of all, it's like, is it like a switch? You know, that seems weird because, like, you can't turn off your sense of smell. Like, they've suggested before you can, but, like, and the other bit of that is that he also, as soon as he leaves the room, when he's gone, well, do you mind? That's a bit invasive. She's going to say, right, this is what he was thinking the whole time long. Is there no, like, I mean, I think it seems weird that she can turn it off, which they've suggested in other episodes she can. I always found that weird. Like, you can't turn off your other senses. But it's also the fact that, the second he leaves, it's like there's no Hippocratic oath or whatever, contracting as a.
But it don't matter because, as Picard points out, everyone could tell. It's like, what was that one we watched recently where they went, "Whoa, he's very arrogant," and like, well, yeah. Where no one has gone before, wasn't it? Where he's like, "I'm fucking shit at warp engines," and she goes, "Bit up his own ass, him."
Like, it does get me where. He goes like, I'd rather die than leave. And Picard turns around and rightly so goes, well, I think you'll find most of the crew won't actually agree with your sentiment on that.
Yeah, sorry, no one's bothered about your egg.
Like, okay, he's got a scientific experiment. He wants to test something, but it's explained what he's testing. He's looking at the decay rate of the neutrons that are given off from this. But it's never explained what is this going to accomplish by him knowing what the decay rate is.
No, they just give that vague, it'll propel our understanding by, it's going to open up so many doors.
Yeah, but it didn't sort of like said, if we know this, we can harness this power to do
and it'll do this. Yeah, no, I think it was just one of them. It'll help us understand stuff better.
Let's be fair. This is a neutron star, so a dwarf star, a tiny star. Perhaps this is the start of a proto-star technology.
Oh, go on, man. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I love, but it's another thing which they just don't quite shore up in the episodes. Like, I mean, I like the fact that they show a relationship between him and Wesley, like Wesley's kind of learning from him, and it would have been nice to see that kind of joy he later shows all throughout this episode. Yeah, why not have him excited? You can still have him being a bit of an asshole about it, but he's obviously got a glee for what he's doing. So why not show that?
Now, this is an interesting theory I've got, which is totally not covered at all in this episode at all. But we know that Wesley becomes a traveller, and he says in Prodigy he doesn't know what he's doing all the time or why he does things. What if he's working subconsciously in this episode because he creates a new species?
He does, yeah.
He's there to help them get on to sort it and to witness the birth of the new work out how to this energy from this neutron star, which is the birth of the proto star, and it's all towards Prodigy, and we don't know what the nanites are for.
Oh, that is good. I did not tie all that together, but it's funny because I thought something a bit.
It ties together.
But it's kind of, I sort of thought of something along similar lines, but I didn't get all that. But it's like, I thought at one stage, because you get the scene between Guinan, if I can bring that one up now. And it's like, there's a bit near the end of that, because like the fact that, like you say, he births a whole life form, which would be so silly if there wasn't for the fact that you've already established a genius, you've already had the traveler in there saying he's meant to create a thing. So when he does something preposterously genius, it's like, no, they've laid the groundwork. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when they just do it with a character randomly, it's like, oh, sorry, I accidentally created life. It's like, I mean, I like that when Guinan was saying, it's like, the Frankenstein bit was quite cute, but then it was when she goes like, he's going like, yeah, I'll step forward and say something if it proves it's nanobots. And she goes, what do you get? What do you think you're going to get for this project? It's like, always get A's. Yeah, sorry, I've accidentally invented another life form. I do this every fucking day. I'm such a genius. Fine, I'll tell them it with me. It's like, and it isn't like he's being braggadocious, but it's kind of quite funny. It's like, yeah, I was getting A for these new life forms.
What's interesting? She goes, "What grade will you get?" And he goes, "I always get an A." And it's almost like he's fed up of always getting A's. So no matter how shit he does at summer. or how little he's trying at something, it does something in it. Like this one, he's getting nowhere with his experiment. He thinks he's fallen asleep.
Yeah.
And then he's created a new life form and he's going to get an A from it.
It's like, look, if you always get an A, how about you don't create a life form that endangers the ship? Just do some crap and get an A. It's fine.
I can even build on it with what Elliot's saying. Also, he creates this thing, and in the Lower Decks episode, you've got the giant D20. We know that he plays tabletop like Will Wheaton.
Oh, yeah.
It all comes together.
Yeah,
do you think that was a really, really specific back reference they never actually say?
Who knows?
Night, Rose.
Who knows? Rose says good night. Yeah.
Big thanks, great show, blessings and greetings. Until next time, night, night, sweet dreams.
Night.
Love, hugs, joy to all, or words to that effect. Sorry, just for anyone who's on audio.
Been very positive, Rose.
Yeah.
That was very nice. Rose
so thank you, Rose.
He's made these nanites, and ultimately he does admit to it. And this is where Stubbs is like, right, well, we're going to kill him then, aren't we? Let's get him killed. And he goes around sabotaging stuff to get him killed, even though they said, no, we need to find out what's going on. Fine, I'm going to go sabotage shit.
There's only one answer, kill him.
And he's just so, this is the thing. This is my point. He's so all over the show. 1 minute he's being nonchalant. The next minute it's like, oh, I'll die with this fucking ship if I have to, with all of you on board. And now he's like a psycho killer on it. And like
but it's all to get his experiment done.
No, I know the motivation, but his character doesn't have a through line. It just goes one area and then he's being a mentor to Wesley. It's like
it's like, so this kid that you've taken a liking to, and bearing in mind you're a scientist, has created a new form of life, and you're not even slightly interested in that. You're just like, kill him. It's fine.
Kill them all. I want my sensor readings.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd been a super kind of like really excited about his experiment all the way through, he takes Wesley under his wing, whatever, and then he's got this choice between what Wesley's created, which is new life, it's exciting to science, or the thing he has hung his dreams on all the way, like through his, like for years, like this is one magnum opus achievement, and then he's faced with this choice and he's about to make the wrong decision. You could even have Wesley coming in and like going and say, man, I thought you loved science. And
that would have been so much better to juxtapose like my big discovery again, that your big discovery could stop my big discovery, but both of them are good for science. That would have been a much more interesting
and a stronger through line. This, as I say, it's just all over the place.
It's almost like it's 2 episodes bashed together. Like usually we get an A plot and a B plot, but in this they're intermingled.
It's all together.
But you've got scientist. Ship's in danger, scientist doesn't want them to leave, and you've got Wesley creates nanites, and they could have been 2 separate episodes.
And I just want to say, for a second there, Willow perfectly lined up her ears above my headphones. Sorry, it was hilarious. If anyone can screen grab that,
we'll screen grab it so you look like Batman.
Yeah, just me. I love dog ears. It was great.
And so they attack Stubbs. Data.
Stubbs attacks them first.
Stubbs attacks them, but then they attack him. And then Data, it's all wrapped up very, very quickly. It's Data, I'll be a conduit. Oh, hello, we're the nanites. We come in peace. Oh, we come in peace as well. Right, let's all be friends. That's pretty much it.
We didn't realise we were causing you problems or anything.
I mean, it was quite fun to have like Data's always the one which the creatures speak through. Like that's almost a
this
next
one-
generation trope in itself. Like they've got a few
Well, it's
episodes.
becoming a MacGuffin, hasn't it? That you've got
Yeah.
for other creatures to talk through.
And in
Yeah.
this one, it's very logical because he's an artificial life form and they're an
Yeah.
artificial, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And they also go, right, Stubbs, you apologise to them, you know,
Yeah,
since
say
you've
sorry.
been killing them. Right on.
But
very
I like how he's all the way through. You've got like the last time we saw him before this is he's lying in sickbay. They've nearly killed him, and he's there. You've got to kill them. You must kill them. Kill them. And then next time we see him, he's called to the bridge, and Picard goes, "Say sorry." And he goes, "Okay, sorry."
Yeah. Again, no consistency, and he's a
Yeah.
great actor. This is the thing; he is so wasted. He could have like. It's not like he's an actor who couldn't have given a better performance. If he
No,
was acting.
absolutely.
It's like there's a lot of stuff leading up to the end that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
And then they tried to wrap it all up in 5 minutes.
Which
Yeah.
they do wrap it all up. And then to the extent that, you know, Stubbs finishes his experiment and we see Wesley going on what's probably a date.
Well, we get
So-
the nanites fix the ship
Nanites
in record
fix it,
time.
yeah.
So Stubbs' experiment can happen. And then we're going to take the nanites to their own
We're gonna give them a planet.
We found a planet they can have that has no life. And the minerals that they need, which I'm assuming the minerals that are on this planet are obviously highly essential to computer cores because the nanites reaching specific things in the computer
They were,
core.
yeah.
So this is probably a really valuable planet, but we're just going to put the nanites there to reach
Yeah,
it
it's
instead.
a silicon planet.
Yeah.
I'd also just I know I made allusions to it, but the scene where he is talking about baseball, I just think it's a great example of how he's a great actor just misused, because it's like the way he talks about it goes like a fast culture who couldn't make time for this, like fast culture and fast food were all that mattered to them. They couldn't make time for this national park. He just talks very nicely about it. And
Yeah,
just,
it's a nice speech.
it's lovely, and I want to see more of that. Like why not? You know,
Though I do find it quite funny that he goes, "Oh, it's how I treat myself after an hard day. I sit there and think about baseball scores. Like,
Yeah, I don't play. I just play.
Can you imagine? Oh, I've had such a difficult day. Oh, 3-0. Oh, 4-0. Oh, brilliant.
You know how many times Cisco was like, sorry, Casti, I'm just stuck at a meeting. Go straight to his quarters to think about baseball. I'm sorry, he's not the
Yeah,
only
just sits there. Oh, third innings. They scored 6. You what?
Hey, scientist from that episode. I was just thinking about that. Oh, you too? Cool.
Yeah.
Like they have
that
like
one.
a group chat.
Oh, yeah, they have like a group chat. How about next Wednesday? We both sit there and think about the same game at the same time. Like, oh, yes. Good idea, Benjamin.
You've also got like this is so rife for a fan episode, book, whatever, because you've got Wesley says it's like, yeah, my dad told me about baseball. So there could have been like some time when Jack Crusher and a young Captain Cisco or Ensign Cisco or whatever might work together and talk baseball. Like that would have been fun.
That would have been
That would
cool.
be fun thing
Yeah.
to
But
like.
what's mad about this with Stubbs going? I go on there, I look at the stats and imagine the game. We've established holodecks by now and how
well,
good
Wesley
they are.
asks him. Wesley
Like,
says, "Do you watch it on a holodeck?" No, just think about it.
Yeah,
which is fine if that's your entertainment. But I just imagine you'd want to wind down a little bit better. You know, it's the way he says that is my treat. It's just
it's
sitting there thinking about stats.
Yeah, we've got the baseball game. We've got holodeck. We can recreate it. We can recreate the players. We've got the stats of how the game played. I could go sit there and enjoy watching them. No, I'm just going to read the stats.
do you know what they could have even made that work better if they just said it, like tied it into his science. So it's like he loves to do science in his head. Like he's such genius. He sees things, you know.
Yeah,
If they tied it back, there was a reason for him doing that. But otherwise, like you guys say, it's like, why don't you just watch it then if that's the case?
Yeah.
It has to be a good reason why that's
Like,
possible to him.
I think that's what's implied. I think it's implied, the fact that he sits and just does it in his head from the stats, that he is such a genius, he can do that.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Well, it's sort of-
but it's
I
not.
got that.
It's not. I got that, but it's not. It's not played well.
Yeah. It
I
could
mean,
be like if it's got to relate back, or even when he's doing that, it frees his mind up for science. Like again, a reason,
Yes.
like a reason for us to care why he does, and like it's supposed to be
Yeah.
just thrown in there for no good reason. It
Yeah,
doesn't need anywhere.
it's obviously meant to show that he's such a genius that he can just play in it.
Yeah.
That he's just as the stats and can watch the game.
Just
but-
by
doesn't really line.
contrast to this, there's an episode of The X-Files where Mulder says pretty much the same thing, that he can just read stats and enjoy it and imagine the game.
Yeah.
But it's the speech he makes is far better written. So maybe, just as a contrast, check out that episode of The X-Files, The Unnatural, it's called. I want to say season 6, but that's not a hill I'll die on.
Just to check here, Mulder doesn't have a holodeck though.
He doesn't.
I don't
know.
remember him having one. I'm just checking.
I mean,
he has a waterbed
probably
later on though.
there is an episode of the X-Files where there's a holodeck. One of the episodes
God,
written
yeah.
by William Gibson, I think, had a holodeck. It's not the greatest episode. Anyway, the point I was originally going to make about all of this, that it's resolved quickly, is that Stubbs is allowed to finish his experiment, so he doesn't get in trouble for killing nanites,
No.
and Wesley doesn't get in trouble for letting nanites escape and creating a new life form that nearly destroys the ship. You know, I just think it's a very forgiving episode, this one.
And the nanites go nanite.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I enjoyed that pun. I thought it was playful.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
And the episode wraps up with Beverly.
What I'll do is, if you write that pun down,
Yeah.
I'll read it tonight to relax, and I'll
And
enjoy
imagine me
it all
saying it.
over again. Yeah. Sorry, Elliot.
No, I was saying that the episode just ends with Beverly whinging to Guy and Wesley never has fun.
Yeah, it was basically we got
And then he comes in and she said, "Oh, great, he has got friends." Oh no, he's got a girlfriend. Now I'm turning back into mother protective.
yeah.
And we never see that woman again. So,
And
did
I
Let's be fair-
Beverly
let's be-
take care of her?
Let's be fair here. Wesley has not got a good track record of second dates.
No,
I mean,
that's fair.
I will like he got his best dating advice from Geordie LaForge though, so bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Like there is an episode where he asked him, and I mean, like, and I kind of quite like the idea of because Crush is back, she's asking after Wesley. That's fine, but it's just it doesn't seem to land really either. There's so much stuff which doesn't.
Yeah, it's like
the earlier scene with her and Picard was quite nice, but I didn't need this one at the end. It's like
don't make her into this domineering mother sort of thing. Nah.
It was like what.
Yeah,
not the greatest, not the strongest start to the season.
You definitely would not. You definitely would not get an episode like this nowadays as your season premiere.
No.
Anything, let alone Star Trek.
One thing I did want to throw in, which we haven't said yet, it's right at the beginning of the episode, just because of the kind of up-res on Netflix, which looked great. I thought like everything looks crystal clear. You can see the acne all over Will Wheaton, like his face is right up to the camera, and because it's so clear now, it's like, oh, you poor bastard! Like you could never see that originally.
I tell you what, I will call out though for being really good. The effects of the Enterprise with this in the stellar phenomenon still hold up because it was done as practical effects.
Yeah, they do. I mean, to be fair, there has been a little bit of digital upgrading, but primarily the effects do look great still.
Like right through TNG, DS9, Voyager. And one of the reasons Star Trek does hold up is the effects hold up.
Yeah, they
physical
do.
Effects.
I agree.
And anything that's physical effects holds up.
And I think
apart from some BBC programs.
Yes.
And I think for most of the Next Generation, the up-resers look like, when they have tinkered with the special effects, it looks more in keeping. I don't like it when they did it with the original series. They just look so jarring against the rest of the film.
Yeah, I think...
And then film stock, not films, before anyone says.
Yeah, I'd have preferred them just to remaster it. I know what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But no, we need... Nah, it's not right.
There's a bit where they show stuff in space and then they zoom in and it's clearly different. It doesn't look like the same.
Yeah,
some of
it works, some of it doesn't. Anyway, we'll wrap up there then for this week. We will be back next week to talk about
episode 4 of Lower Decks.
4 of Lower Decks and wherever that leads us. In the meantime, you can get in touch with us. We're at RetrekPod on Twitter. We are retrekpod@gmail.com. We're on all the socials, including Retrek Model Studios on YouTube.
Watch the back catalogue, and at some time in the future, probably around Christmas, there'll be an unboxing of Quartz Ship.
Fantastic. And Dr. Squee, what have we got going on the Dr. Squee show?
Well, as I said last week, like you don't know, you handsome bastard. We've been talking Twin Peaks still. So we've just finished our look back at the original show with part 2 of season 2. Please do check that out on youtube.com/DrSquee. And this next week, which we have to sort out a date, we're going to be talking about Firewalk with Me, the movie, which is kind of a prequel. And the missing pieces a bit less, so we'll kind of quickly dive into that. Is kind of the deleted scenes. There's a couple of really interesting ones, but mainly it's it's the completist in me that involved us watching this. It's
about to get weirder on the Twin Peaks coverage, if such a thing is possible.
Oh, and then we're into the return, so fucking hell. Yeah, we're going to do the movies this week, then the return. That's going to get some weird shit.
So, thanks for trekking with us this time, and we will see you next time on the Retrek.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Drag on and look after yourselves.
Fascinating.